I spent thousands of dollars on AI-generated ads, and it led me to having the Gorilla Couch behind me. But today's going to be a little bit different, because rather than purchasing AI-generated ads that I find online, I'm going to be purchasing AI-generated products from AI-generated influencers themselves. And some of these influencers and videos have millions of followers and views. It's actually crazy how people are getting tricked by literal fake influencers into purchasing products, and I'm going to be doing that willingly today. So without further ado, we are going to spend a lot of money, and we are going to have our brain rot by looking at these AI influencers, but it should be a lot of fun, and maybe there's some crazy things we buy. So without further ado, grab your popcorn and let's do this. So here's an example of a video that has 750,000 views of AI generated influencers, just so you see baseline of what we're working with.
I broke into a zoo to prove one man is enough to fight a gorilla.
Welcome to the Chernobyl challenge. I'm gonna lick this glowing pole. Let's see how many views this gets.
When you think about it, it's actually crazy because we're not completely there yet, but I could see people, especially like 50, 60, 70-year-olds, starting to get really fooled by this. But it's not so bad when it's just them making content, but where it gets bad is when they promote product. So here's a channel I came across that has 100,000 followers and over 1 million likes. Some videos have multiple million views, and it's called Bigfoot Will Do It. It's a TikTok page, but what gets crazy is that it's not just content of the AI-generated Bigfoot, but it actually is selling stuff. So here we go.
What's up, boys? Y'all said I had to try this watermelon caffeine puck. Oh, it's hitting already. I literally can't stop moving. What should I try next?
So you're not able to see it on desktop, but you can see the little watermark here that says eligible for commission. And that's because he's linking something to TikTok Shop and actually making money off of these zins that he's promoting. And even people in the comment section saying he's sponsored now. And people are kind of hyped about it. And presumably from these amounts of views, this influencer, who is just a fake Bigfoot, probably made thousands of dollars. So the product that Bigfoot Will Do It is promoting is Live Well caffeine pouches. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase them and see if they're any good. And I specifically want the watermelon ones because that is what Bigfoot used. So Bigfoot Will Do It recommended me to purchase the Live Well caffeine pouches in watermelon ice flavor, and I have 5 right here. I don't know why it says this is a set, do not separate. Am I like not allowed to open an individual one? Nonetheless, I'm going to. Now he said he was tweaking, he couldn't stop moving by having these. Notably, these are not nicotine or tobacco based, these are purely caffeine. So it's like just little coffee pouches basically. All right, so I went to look inside and this is what I got, nothing. So did I get scammed? Not sure. Let me try to open this again. All right, they come in these really weird containers. Now, do I just put this in my mouth? So it's like a pouch. Oh, that goes directly to the dome. Wow. So one pouch has 225 milligrams. That is insane. It has 4 stars on the caffeine scale right there. Woo. And it is late right now. It is 9 p.m., so I'm probably not gonna get to sleep until like midnight. Oh, this out of my mouth. It doesn't even taste that good. It's kind of disgusting. Not a fan of that. Bigfoot Will Do It. Not sure why you tried to sell me that, but I did purchase it. So you did influence me in a sense. But overall, I would not trust your recommendation in the future because that thing just left a stain on my palate. And now I can no longer get it off of my mouth. And I'm probably gonna have this for the rest of the video. So shame on you. But it doesn't end there because despite only having 14 videos out, there's not just one, but there's 2 actual sponsored posts on here. So that first sponsored one got 2 million views, but on this page that already has 100,000 followers, there's another multi-100,000 viewed video in which he's promoting this.
What's good, gang? I'm at the ranger station right now. I got in trouble for my last video, but Tim said I should try pre-workout.
This pre got me amped. If y'all want to support me, buy a tub. They got drones after me. Love y'all.
I mean, there's so much to say. I like the fact that he's just so unashamed about the fact that he's getting commission. He's in fact just being honest about it in his content. Is there really ads on this? Haha. AI is getting commission now. We're cooked. And people are having fun with it. They're like, Lamau, like we love that. Now, this is something I would be glad to pay commission on. So I actually think people are more positively responsive to now AI influencers promoting product versus actual influencers, which is just a crazy place to be in. But I'm gonna go ahead and purchase this C4. I'm gonna see if it's any good. If it amps me up like it did to Bigfoot. Okay, so I got my hands on Bigfoot Will Do It's C4 original pre-workout right here. It amped him up, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a scoop of this and see if it does a similar effect to me. As you'll recall, he was running away from like drones and police that were going after him. He was definitely energized up, so I'm excited to try this out. Now, this thing has 215 milligrams of caffeine, which I believe is equal to like 2 cups of coffee, which is a good amount. I've seen this before. Which we know are like 3-4 times our size. So if he was feeling that amped up, I can only imagine how this would feel for a human. Also, who wants to get that amped up? I guess unless you're like working out or something, which maybe I'll use this and then I'll like bang out a set of like 100 push-ups. Ooh, smells pretty good. Give that a sniff. All right, so here we have the water. I'm gonna dump in a healthy amount of this scoop. Instantly turns pink. Now kind of like a blood red. This thing's gonna destroy me. All right, it's all mixed up now. Let's give it a taste. So it actually tastes pretty good. It tastes exactly like cherry Kool-Aid, which is a very nostalgic flavor. So I'm gonna give it like 30 minutes or so. I'm gonna finish this off. And then once I finish this, hopefully I'm amped up, and I'm gonna see if there's any difference if I try to do, say, like 100 push-ups or something. All right, so it's been about 30 minutes and I feel a little bit amped up. I mean, obviously I had 215 milligrams of caffeine, so that'll do that to you, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to bang out as many push-ups as I can. Usually I can get about 50 in a row before tiring out. So I'm gonna see if I can do more, and that will be establishing a baseline to see whether or not this is good for you. So let's try to reach optimal performance right now. All right, so that was 51 push-ups. I feel pretty good. I probably could have gone for like 70, 75 uninterrupted. I'm not trying to like get super tired out though, because I did work out this morning. I like it though. Definitely have some sort of like caffeine jolt to me. And it translates if you want to go to the gym or if you want to get amped up before you go on a run or something. So that's a good recommendation from Bigfoot Will Do It. The next AI generated influencer we're looking at is AI POV 123 that has 200,000 followers on TikTok alone. And they actually have one of the most viewed TikTok from an AI generated influencer in which it's promoting product. And that is this one right here with 5.4 million views.
And my wife got the nerve to text me, don't forget to pick up milk. Damn the cow.
But this little bastard right here, this fan hat, this bro right here, he's the reason I haven't filed for divorce.
So if you have a amazing, hardworking father bust like I am here, then these hats are on sale now in the TikTok shop. Get it now.
Eligible for commission, 500,000 likes and 53,000 bookmarks. The fact that this person who created this fake ad is making so much money off the commissions of fan hats just from having an AI generated dad on a construction site, leveraging Father's Day. Honestly, props and kudos to them. That is very well done. Everyone's saying I'm cooked when I'm old. I can only tell this is AI by the voice. How did bro add a product? In fact, people are literally saying, bro, you just did an AI commercial and it's not that bad. So people are even coming around to this and enjoying the fact that they are getting pushed a product by an AI generated influencer. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase this fan hat and see if it's any good. See if it keeps me cool during these hot days, just like our guy right here. Ladies and gentlemen, the hat has finally arrived. As you can see, this thing is massive. This is what it looks like on my head. So that guy was not lying. When he's outside in the construction field and it's super sunny outside, this hat may be the only thing that's saving him. Now you'll notice though, there's no fans. So at first I was thinking I was scammed, but then I saw these boxes from China that have little fans in them. In fact, there's 2 of them and they're supposed to fit basically right here. So I'm going to try to put these in. First of all, I'm not even positive this will work. Not too bullish on this. Let's see. Oh, it turned on. Okay. Now see if you could just sit in here. Oh. Act like you didn't see that. Okay, I got a fan in. The fan is like directly in my left ear, and this thing is very cool. I'm not joking. This is a great invention. It's gonna fall any second. I know it's going to, so I'm bracing for that. Let me see if I can get the other one on. Just cool my right ear now. All right, just like that, I have the cooling fan hat. This is very nice. So let me see if I can do some like yard work. It's got great shade coverage. Not gonna lie, one of the better products that an AI influencer has ever tried to sell to me. Granted, it was $54, so it was kind of expensive, but I do like how it's camouflaged. I like the color scheme, and these fans are a little bit jank, but let me tell you, this thing cools you. Really solid hat. That dad AI person on the construction site was not lying to you. Solid influencer. He gets my recommendation. Another AI influencer that popped up is Whiskeytron, which is this otter that does daily vlogs. Has 25,000 followers, 300,000 likes, and then a couple of videos with 1 million views. So here's one right here with 2.4 million views, and once again, pushing product.
What's good, homies? Father's Day coming up, but I never met my pops. Bro dipped when I was like 2. Anyway, I'm chilling. Might build a raft later or scream into the tree.
Presenting Tyson lightly breaded boneless chicken bites. Always been Tyson.
Fancy Feast Gems. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary.
The most important food ingredient is going away for good. Which salt? Mustard! No, the one that ties any meal together. Red 3. So unless you want to go to jail, you better try it now because the US government is about to make Red 3 illegal. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Food Theory, the only show that's truly to die for. Yeah, and that's DYE. Because today, we're talking about all things food dye. At some point, especially if you live in the United States, you have no doubt picked up your favorite food or drink, turned over the ingredients on the back, and saw the whole suite of colorful dyes we've come to expect on our food these days. I'm talking red 40, yellow 3, and who could forget about blue 2? And you may have seen these ingredients and thought, these sound like they should be coming out of a quarterback's mouth and not going into mine. These are artificial food dyes, and we've been using them for decades to make our food here in the States look as bright or as toxic as you've come to expect. Unfortunately, the colorful party might be coming to an end soon for one of those precious dyes. In January of this year, the FDA announced that it was revoking its authorization for Red 3, essentially making it banned in all food and drugs in the United States. And I'll be honest, when I heard about this, I was like, that's a good thing, right? Admittedly, now that I think about it, I don't really know what these dyes are in the first place. Like, I've heard of Red 40 and Yellow 5, but should I be worried about them being in all of my favorite treats? And why is Red 3 specifically getting the axe from the feds? Well, that is what today's episode aims to get to the bottom of. What are these chemical food dyes? Are they dangerous for us to consume? And most importantly, do we actually need them? Drop your socks and grab your Crocs, loyal theorists, as we dive in to explain America's chemical romance with artificial dyes. Let's kick things off by laying out what these artificial dyes actually are. Obviously, the name partly gives it away. They're food dyes and color additives that are not natural, but artificial. Now, artificial in this case doesn't just mean companies are adding it to food where they aren't naturally found, but that the very chemicals themselves are synthetic or artificially made. They're made like any other chemical is, by reacting various chemicals together to create a tasteless compound that can make any food colorfy. And these dyes are found in all sorts of processed goods that can use a little splash of red, blue, yellow, or green to brighten their day. From Swedish fish and Fruit Loops to yellow rice and even mouthwash. But you know what doesn't have any artificial dyes? The sponsor for today's episode, AG1. Or as I like to call it, the one responsible decision I make every day. As someone whose diet is roughly 60% chaos and 40% regret, I need to make sure I'm at least getting the vitamins and minerals I need to keep my body going for as long as YouTubely possible. And AG1 has been the thing to support just that. Mainly because I'm lazy and it's literally the easiest thing you can do. I wake up, make myself breakfast, fix myself up a glass, and I'm good. Not so, head editor. Thanks for that. And involved not only cataloging, but testing every single color additive found in food or cosmetics for safety. And obviously, in this catalog, every additive needed a name. For your natural color additives like dehydrated beets, caramel color, and grape peel skin, they just got to keep their names. But for your artificial dyes, or as the FDA calls them, the certified dyes, they needed a new one. Those certified lover boys, certified color dyes all get a name and number based on their color. You got yellow 5, red 40, blue 2, and so on and so on. And actually, there are less of these artificial dyes that are approved in the United States than you might have realized. Not 900, not 90, but just 9 are approved to be in our food. There are way more that are allowed in our cosmetics, but I'll save that headache for Amy to tackle over on Style Theory. The 9 artificial dyes approved for food by the FDA are red 3 and red 40, blue 1 and blue 2, green 3, yellow 5 and 6, orange B, and citrus red 2. And even then, that list is a bit inflated because there's a big old asterisk next to the last 2. Orange B is only approved to be used in hot dog and sausage casings, but due to some concerns of contamination back in the 70s, the only company that made Orange B said screw it and stopped production, and it hasn't been used ever since. And Citrus Red 2 is only permitted in the color of the skins in oranges. You can't even use it for oranges that are used for orange juice. So unless you're eating the skins of oranges or 50-year-old wieners like a mad lad, you're unlikely to ever ingest any of those last 2 dyes. And even Green 3 isn't used that much anymore, because companies often choose to use a mix of blue and yellow to make their classic foods instead. But you may be looking at this list and notice a few gaps. If there's a red 3 and a red 40, what about reds 4 through 39? Spoiler alert, do exist, but all of those quote-unquote missing dyes either never got approval in the first place, or much like Red 3 is about to be, they got axed. For example, take Red 2, also known as Amaranth. It used to be allowed under the FD&C Act. That was until 1976 when it was banned for being a suspected carcinogen. But, to be honest, I would rather have a bottle of potentially carcinogenic food dye than the other Amaranth beverage we've talked about on this channel before. And so, over time, the list of approved artificial dyes has become become smaller and smaller until eventually we were left with the 9, or technically 7, that we have today. Fun fact, the main 7 are also all approved for use in drugs and cosmetics as well. That is, all except for 1. Which of course brings us to our main culprit of today's video. As I mentioned at the top of the episode, Red 3, one of the approved artificial dyes, is losing that approval status. But why? And why now? Well, it all comes down to a little thing known as the Delaney Clause. The Delaney Clause was part of an amendment to the FD&C Act, the one that gave the FDA authority to monitor all this stuff in the first place. Basically, it says, hey, FDA, BT dubs, if you ever find out that any of these additives in our food and makeup cause cancer in humans or animals, you'll ban it, right? And the FDA was like, yup, you got it. And for the past couple decades, that's how it worked. Remember Red 2, Amaranth? Back in the 70s, studies came out that showed that there was an increased risk in cancer in female mice who were given a high dose of Red 2. So the FDA